How are the Mavericks viewed now as a franchise in the eyes of current NBA players in the wake of the Luka Doncic trade? Several individuals around the NBA weighing in with their thoughts on the Luka Doncic trade, which we will get into right here on the DLLS Mavs podcast, Bobby, as the controversial trade that's in shockwaves throughout the rest of the league has had reverberations through not just the postseason, but also players' feelings about not just this team, but also the trade in and of itself.
Yeah, so the article in The Athletic is called NBA Players Sound Off on Lakers Mavericks Luka Doncic Trade, quote, blasphemy.
And it's a spin out of the anonymous player survey that The Athletic has done for, I think, 4 or 5 straight years running. So this is just one of the questions that they asked, and they spun out a whole article on it because, yes, the Luka trade was pretty much the biggest news in the NBA this season.
And this is put together by Sam Amick and Josh Robbins.
But really the entire Athletic staff.
So you used to do it.
I did. Yes.
Answers range from disbelief to players who are on the Lakers thinking that it's a good idea. But I'll just read a selection of players' responses, and then there's a couple pretty sinister ones that I want to get into at the end. So how about this one? I'll just breeze through a few real quickly. Quote, shocked. I was on the court. Fan told me at half court. It's one of those moments you won't forget, like when Michael Jackson died or 9/11 happened. Those moments you just know is going to be forever ingrained. Another one, I thought it was just the NBA doing it for viewership. So players, they're just like us. Another one, quote, when I'm not with my team, I'm a Mavericks fan. I didn't know how to process it because it just happened so fast. I was taken aback. It just lets you know that nobody is untouchable in this league.
It's nice they got Giannis for the survey. I'm kidding.
A lot of people suspected that was Cade Cunningham that answered that question, actually. And then another one, quote, terrible. Wow. Like, what did they do? I thought the Mavs were going to come out of the West again 2 months ago. That was terrible, man. I don't care how you slice it. To not get back what they should have gotten back is ridiculous. It messed the league up.
Messed the league up.
Those are like some of the most tasteful ones. All right. Now, there's there's some that skew a little more aggressive, and I'll read those right now. Quote, psychotic. Didn't make sense. I don't know how you make it make sense. Psychotic was the another one. Blasphemy. Another one. The worst ever. Another one. It's one of the worst basketball decisions I've ever seen. And then I think this one is probably from either LeBron or Austin Reeves. Quote, I think it's phenomenal decision. So smart. Wise. I'm a Nico Harrison fan. or maybe that was sarcastic. I'm not sure. Either way, it was awesome. But there's two that are really, really damning, and I want to hear y'all's reaction to these two. First one, the quote begins with talking about how, you know, everyone says his defense is bad or whatever, but you can find guys to hide that weakness. And then this is where it gets pretty dark. Quote, I feel like they could have went into the summer and had a grown man conversation. So you make Luka the one who ultimately makes the decision for the front office. If you don't want to play defense, all right. And they've been keeping him accountable. Just being around him, I feel like he'll take feedback. But I feel like they should have went into the summer and then talked that out. That's crazy.
This one really stood out to me because a lot of the reporting has been that Nico was struggling to have like direct conversations with Luka. I think that's an accurate summary. Correct me if you feel I'm wrong, Mark Stein. But this was something that, you know, not only was there a disconnect between player and general manager, but it was a disconnect that just continued. They just kept going. It kept growing. And there wasn't a lot of direct one-on-one human communication to try to solve it, to try to fix it. And I thought the point of getting to the summer and being like, this is what our philosophy is. Nico Harrison has been talking a lot about, you know, he's tried to reframe his initial comments of culture. He's tried to reframe them as philosophy. So if you get to the summer and you say, this is our philosophy, this is how I want to win a championship. And there was some quotes in here that, like, you know, there's some players who kind of feel, you know, both approaches are right. It's just like a difference of opinion about how you go about, you know, building a team. That, like, I don't know, it just resonated with me. And it resonated because this is a player's perspective. This is what a player in the same situation, he would at least want the chance for the GM to come and say, we're changing our philosophy from what it used to be.
Yeah, talk to me face-to-face about this.
Yeah. Exactly. And I don't think there was a lot of face-to-face conversations about the issues that ultimately got Luka traded.
How could that be?
I mean, like this, to me, it's great to hear a player say it because, I mean, we've been doing this for so long now, almost 3 months, that like I can't, I feel like I've said everything 27 times or 77 times, but like this is one of the foremost failings of this whole thing for me. And I did it, last night, just watching that first half as he's carving the Wolves up and the no look to Dodo. And it's just like, whatever you don't like about this player, he is so good. You run out every ground ball to try to fix it. Everyone. Can the Mavericks look in the mirror and say, we tried everything to get Luka to do it our way, and then we traded him? And they cannot say that. They can't come close to saying that. They gave up way too soon. And all these players, they see it too.
A random player who's not on the team.
He is so damn good that you have to try and try and try to find this middle ground that you think is necessary. To underline again, the Mavericks felt like it was necessary, and like they cannot do forever. They will never be able to say we tried everything to make this work.
And that's the part I can't square, because if you're going to be positioned as relationship guy, the number one aspect of working with a superstar is to cultivate a relationship that allows you to have a working one for years and years to come. And it doesn't feel like the necessary correct conversations were either broached or even tried to be approached by either Harrison. And look, Luka has some fault in this as well. It takes two to tango and two to dance. If there was a lack of communication from Nico's camp, or if there was a lack of communication from Luka's camp, both sides have got to figure out a way. How do we come together to figure this out? Because if you can, then you can both move forward to get on the same page, whether it be on a basketball side, a business side. But both parties have to be willing to do that. I feel like it's more so on the management here, because you got more to lose than the player does. So if you feel like you have a chance to do that, that is on Nico Harrison and the leadership of this team to do. And I don't feel like we will ever know if that was truly the case that he approached it.
He's a some relationships guy, not a relationship with Luka, not a relationship with Casey Smith, with Scott Tomlin, with Casey Spangler, with Jeremy Holstoppel, not a relationship with Dirk Nowitzki, other players who have gone out the door. Certainly a lot of relationships clearly have not been productive. We're not able to be mended. Just look at how much information there is out there about the team. There is a lot of hurt people who have been ousted from the franchise, who are frustrated with the franchise. He can build relationships with some people. That is absolutely 100% true. He has a very good relationship with Anthony Davis, with Kyrie Irving, with a lot of players on the team, with a lot of people around the league. It is not it's not that he can build relationships with every single person. That is not his strength. His strength is specific type of relationships that he has tried to bring to and change Dallas into representing those relationships that he is best at cultivating.
Well, and that's a problem.
Yeah, that means you don't need to have this job.
Yeah, I mean, well, this last quote is why it's such a problem, because your job as the general manager is to trust, create an environment in which players will trust that you have their and your team's best interest in mind for many years to come as they prepare to sign a multi-year contract with your organization. And that's where this last quote is the most damning, I think. And I'm going to paraphrase some cuss words, all right, because this is a family-friendly program. Quote, I think that stuff was idiotic, but I don't think it was a bad trade. I just think the way they did it and everything about it was idiotic. I think them shopping the franchise face of their organization, for a lot of players who already feel that this is a business, like, those mighty fine gentlemen don't care about you. I think it sets an example like, all right, why should I give a F word about this team if this is how they're going to treat me? I came in here and I was all NBA like 5 times in 6 seasons, an MVP candidate, and don't even get told about none of this. I'm like, this organization doesn't give an F about me. Why would I give an F about any organization?
And that's the one for me that stood out, because you're in not only a relationship business, you're in the business of trying to find the best talent in order to help you win games and to win so consistently for long periods of time. And if these are players who are saying this in terms of how they perceive the organization to be, it's going to be very difficult for Nico Harrison to walk into a player's living room and credibly discuss the idea of that player joining this team, because he watched that player get traded in the middle of the night without warning after all the success, and most importantly, taking the team to the NBA Finals. If that player could get moved with no warning, why in the world would I trust you to have my best interest at heart to put me in a position to win if you were willing to treat that dude that way? I'm not coming to play here. And nor would any of my friends or previous teammates, whoever the case may be, would want you credibly decide that this would be a place where I would want to play. That to me is a damning statement, because if he's going to be a relationship guy and building a team as a general manager, that's not a good start, buddy. That's not a good start at all. Players are having that kind of conversation.
I don't think a lot of people are on Jimmy Butler's side when he forced his way out of Miami, and certainly that got messy in a lot of ways, maybe ways that we don't quite understand or know yet. But if you're Jimmy Butler and you're looking at this, how do you have any regrets over the situation?
Yeah, you're lighting a big
that he
cigar.
does, but he's like, Miami isn't Dallas, and Pat Riley isn't Nico Harrison, but if that can happen to Nico, if that can happen to Luka Doncic, why should Jimmy Butler not just go force his way out in the messiest way possible? Because even every measurement of on-court success wasn't enough to keep Luka here. He just took the team to the NBA Finals. He'd got first-team All-NBA, 5 straight seasons. 1 Rookie of the Year before that. All of that wasn't enough. There is no amount of performance at his job, it seems, up to, I guess, winning championships every year. You know how hard that is? That possibly, he could have more to have kept himself here. Obviously, philosophy, difference of opinions. He's got his own flaws. But if you're NBA stars looking around the league, this doesn't do anything. It doesn't, whatever you feel about player empowerment and all the discourse that's gone on about that and rings culture, on and on and on and on. This only accelerates it. This only justifies everything that players have done to get out of situations, because Nico Harrison's can do things like this to Luka Doncic's.
It's almost in a way that a front office is trying to strike back and say, hey, no, actually, we're the ones that hold the power here. Because to that very idea of player empowerment.
But they always have. That's never changed. Sorry.
In some ways, it kind of has. I mean, hell, look at LeBron James and how he torpedoed and changed the entire trajectory of the league when he decided to join Miami in the manner in which he did it. I mean, players have decided to take a lot of their careers in their hands. I mean, hell, James Harden changing teams every other year and has no bones about doing it. I mean, calling Daryl Morey a liar on the record, not once but twice. I mean,
well, he might have been. So,
well, I mean, the point is, these players will have no compunction about doing what's best for them. And if you're watching this player get traded in the manner that he did, if I'm a player, I'm going to do exactly what's best for me, because clearly I'm going to get ahead of the organization, stabbing me in the back. I'm going to be the one to do what I need to do to get to the best situation for me to win, no matter how it may look Miami when it comes to Jimmy Butler, just as an example from that. But that's tremendous stuff there. NBA players going on record discussing their ideas about the Luka Doncic
That was
trade.
just a sampling.
That was just a little bit.
There's dozens and dozens and dozens of quotes in there that are, each of them are very interesting.
No matter what, the Luka Doncic trade will continue to have reverberations around the league for years to come, and obviously players making their voices known.